So what I was saying was I was going to do a challenge this week and then all these things, the world, just things have happened and a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on I think for a lot of people, but a lot of like and school started for the kids and like just everything after one another. So anyway, um and so as I was getting ready to do mindful morning on Monday morning, I was like, there's a modality that I have studied for years that like I think that it is a perfect time to introduce it when we learn how to get present. Because it's actually the study of how to interpret our current experience. And so this master class is really going to be about the first a couple weeks ago, the first step really in my program is called clear. And it's about clearing out, you know, like trauma and noticing whatever is in our way of being present. That first phase is really like figuring out what those things are, and then in this phase of like the second phase that I take people through, it's about connecting with the current like what is actually happening in the moment. But I was having quite a few people, and this is just what happens is like I don't want to get present because then all these things come up. Well, those are what we want to come up. Like, we want that to come up. That's exactly what we want to happen. And so then it was, instead of them fearing getting present, okay, now with shadow work, right? Then you know kind of what's happening. Oh, it's my shadows. And so here comes now NLP, which I'm not going to use that term very much because for me, it was a very like, I in the beginning when I started learning all this, I was like, what is happening right now? And I don't know if I think Abby might know what NLP is. Um, and if anybody here knows what I'm talking about, if you have any experience with NLP, so it's neuro linguistic programming. So it's like the manual of your subconscious mind. It is how your brain, it's your mind speaks, right? It's neuro is the nervous system in the mind, and linguistic is language, and programming is what it's our programming. And so this is like when I got my hypnosis certification and studied hypnosis. NLP is a lot of like a coaching modality, and it's how we can shift the way that we perceive the experience we're having. And so this week I decided I was like, I want to share 5 beliefs that I got, and they're called presuppositions. We'll talk about those in a minute. But like 5 beliefs, one belief every day. And I don't know, I know Janelle, you've watched some of the mindful mornings that I'm practicing with. Stacy, I know you have, Christine, I know you have, Abby, I don't know if you have, but and I'm sure you've heard me talk about these beliefs anyway, but I have them on my board, right? That manifestation board or manifesto board so I use them all the time. And so I just thought this is what a perfect opportunity for anyone who already knows how to get present. Everybody here, you guys all know like what to do and how to do it, whether that's all in your own way. And so I kind of wanted to give you guys the ones that show up, the ones that are here, whatever you guys need of like how, like a powerful, some practices and tools. Like this changed my relationship too, along with the shadow work. But NLP and shadow work actually go to like, it's crazy how they go side by side. And Janelle actually mentioned something this morning when we were talking, like, so presuppositions are assumptions that we're assuming things to be true because like so for example, like I talked about a homeless person, and I hope like nobody here gets after I said it, I was like, oh my God, I'm sure someone's gonna be like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that. But you know what? Whatever. My thoughts on homelessness have always been if I see them, I'm like, they're lazy. Okay? I'm just gonna tell you this now. This is just how I would internalize that when I would see someone do like that. Like, okay, wait a minute. They have the same opportunities that I have, maybe more. And my mind would go to all these places, right? Which, by the way, that's fine. And it's a shadow, right? I need to work on my shadow lazy. Not really. And I'll explain in a minute of like why we don't want to just be all the time like I have shadows all over. I need to be working on every single judgment that I have of other people. That's not true. But it's also like how, like if I were to think of a homeless person right now in my brain, like what in my you visualize something. You visualize, see colors or black and white. You see them dirty or where they're at, the location, the smell maybe, that whatever. Like we have an internal representation of of that. So if we have these beliefs of everybody, which I'll share them here in a second, if everybody's doing the best they can with the resources they have available, it kind of softens that assumption I have that, oh, they are lazy and just not doing anything in their life. And then that helps me like show up in a different way, right? With some more compassion for these people that they are trying to do the best they can with what they have. So anyway, and then with my relationship, I would use another belief. I'll be sharing it tomorrow, but it's about you want to change the reaction you get from, or the important piece of communication isn't what you're intending, it's what you're communicating. So when you communicate something, and we'll talk about it tomorrow more, but when you get a response back that you don't like, then you change what you say, right? You change the way you communicate and you get a different response. So anyway, it's like it just after a while, like now I geek out about it because I'm like, ooh, this is so interesting. Like to change the way that I'm thinking and the way that I'm perceiving, and it just takes all the personalness out of it, and it's more of like a science or something, Like I don't know if everybody feels like that, but I do because I just like it's amazing to understand these things. Like this is like gold, Like instead of worrying about all these things we can't change, how cool is it that we can focus on something that we can change? Like you guys do have power to change the way you perceive your life, and then in turn it shifts. Um, okay. So if you guys want, go ahead. I'll go ahead and let me bring this up really quickly. And we're gonna do a little practice here real quickly just to get present. So, take a breath. We'll take a breath. If you want to just close your eyes for a couple minutes here, just because I want you to notice, right? And close your eyes if it feels good, but just notice like you made it here. You're here with me. A lot of a lot of you here are here with me all the time, and I just love you guys so much that you're here with me, and I appreciate you guys so much because this time though is for you. So I want you to know that this time is for you guys. You just sit and you just relax. And isn't that the most amazing statement to hear when someone's like, just sit back and relax and let me take care of you? It's such a like, oh, yes, thank you. I'm just gonna breathe. And it's okay that I'm the one saying that to you guys. But so yeah, just sit back and relax because this time is for you. And there's no rushing. There's no to-do list, right? There's just presence. And so putting your hand on your heart, we're just gonna do a quick grounding, just breathing in with our hand on our heart, and you can feel your heart beating. And I would play music, but then I'll do that here in a minute. I just want you guys to breathe, do a body scan if you need to, just starting at the top of your head, and just starting up at the top of your head, going down to your forehead, down to your nose, down to your cheeks and your neck, and down your arms, down to your heart, and really just winding down from the day. So if there's been any stress and anxiety, a lot of commotion or a lot of chaos, a lot of whatever has happened today, a lot of busyness, it's just you're winding down, you're stopping, you're slowing your nervous system down and going down your stomach, down to your legs. Just that you're pulling this bright white light over your body just to say, okay, I am nestling in for the rest of the night. I'm done with the day, all the way down to your feet. And then just grounding into the earth, seeing those tree roots coming out of the bottom of your feet. And you can listen as I'm saying this, but tonight I want to invite you into a deeper experience of yourself. So, not just information, but transformation and experience. And so, what would that look like for you? What do you want to feel going away from this session, going away from this masterclass? Like, what is it that you want to feel when you're leaving here? Do you want to feel clear? Do you want to feel more grounded, even though that is what we're doing right now, but just do you want to feel more, motivated or more excited, or you want to feel relaxed? Like, I just really like anchoring into what it is that you want to feel like when you leave here. And so just taking a couple seconds to think about that, or just kind of put into words and what it is that you really want to get out of tonight when it comes to rewriting your reality, or when it comes to connecting with your current experience and really starting to, in the present moment, like using that as an opportunity to say, like, okay, what is it that I want to experience in my life? Like you're at, once you're in this space, it's really no longer fixing things and putting out fires everywhere. It is now like, okay, I feel good with how my life looks right now, or for the most part, what is it I want to experience now? What is it I want to create in the present moment? And so just go and take a deep breath, starting to open your eyes if it's not all, if you're not, if your eyes aren't open already. And I think, oh, someone just tried to get in, but it's okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen wherever. Let me see here. And Janelle, do you need to, if you need to like be on the phone or something, do you need it, or whatever you need to do, just whatever, okay?
Oh, we've already got it taken care of. We're meeting tomorrow.
Okay, good. Awesome. I'm so glad that, yeah, I just was like, she was like, well, who made those shirts? I was like, Janelle, my client, and I was like, here's her phone number. And I sent you, I'm just there. There you go. Let's
I
just make it
appreciate
easy.
it. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. I love Kimbra. That's my second mom. Um, all right, here we go. Where are we at? Sorry, guys. This is why I'm doing a run through with you guys. Okay. Um, and also, like, like I said, I don't want you guys to hold back anything tonight at all. Let me know your questions. Let me know, like, does this make sense? Is this something that it is exciting to learn about? Is it not? Is it going to help? Like, all the things. All right. Like, like what else would be helpful once you start? I don't, there's no way anyone can like offend me, or like, I just want you guys to tell me what it is. Like, if you like this information, if it is helpful, because just because it was super powerful for me, I mean, yes, of course, I'm like, it would be powerful for everybody. However, again, the subconscious mind we are not aware of. Okay. It is, Milo, you're like, I can't even teach because your eye is like, I can't do it. You can keep doing it. I just won't look at you. But the subconscious mind is, we're not aware of it, right? We're not aware of the things under the surface. And so, in the way the subconscious mind speaks in this language, it does not, it feels very foreign at first, of like, what the hell, or sorry, Milo, what the heck what's going on here? I mean, what is she talking about? And it's and this is why it's taken me 7 years. Like, I've done two courses with it. I still have to go back. I mean, it's a lifelong learning thing. And anyway, so like, yeah, I want you guys to just tell me all the things. I don't care. Um I just love it. I love it when you guys tell me how things are going. Okay, why is this not? Oh, here we go. Share screen. There we go. There's that. Okay. Okay. So we already did a drop in. So tonight it's about presence. We're going to talk a little bit about shadow work and then NLP. So it's really rewiring the way you experience your current it's what you do once you can connect to your current experience, right? So it's really about, also at me asking you, like, where is your mind right now? Is it in the past? Is it in the future? Or is it in the present moment? Are you like, oh, I have other things I need to do? Even though in the beginning when we did the drop in and things, I'm like, there's nowhere else for you to be. You're there, you know where else. Like I try to pre-frame this space to where you guys literally have nothing else you have to be looking at or thinking about. But just asking yourself, where is my mind right now? Is it past, future, or in the present? And so, um, and how you, and when you do that, and I think that everybody here, as far as like what you, when you notice you're getting, I'll just use an example of there's been a death. There was a death. Someone was passed away yesterday in the place that I work. He's a very prominent like figure of that community. He's a director. It's a very sad, sad situation. Um, and it's extremely hard for anyone to work at where I'm or at Restored Life. It's extremely difficult. Everybody is emotional. People stayed home, right? They could not be in the present moment today. So the fact that I didn't know him that well, like I met him, I did know him a little bit and here and there, whatever, but I haven't been there that long. So I provided support, right? And I'm trying to keep things going and all of these things. And so you can see the contrast of when someone they're not in the present moment. They're so sad and in grief and like, their mind is not here. Their mind, their brain is connected to that limbic part, right? The limbic part is like going crazy, not connected to the prefrontal cortex at all, which by the way, anyone else that's here, like the prefrontal cortex is like our rational mind. The limbic part is our emotional mind. So that's an example of when someone's not present, right? You just cannot, your mind is in the past, it's sad, or it's like, whatever, okay? For anybody, just some like clarification, if that's how you can tell when you're not there. And so, why the problem here of what we're solving, for what we're solving for with this masterclass is like, why is it so hard to stay present? And if anybody wants to like share one, or if you have a thought or I put some examples up here, right, of like looping thoughts, your mind going, you're thinking of all the things you need to do, right? Depression, anxiety. Like, what are some of the reasons why it seems to be so hard to stay in the present moment? If anybody wants to share. If not, we'll keep going. But if you have a hard time staying present, that might be helpful to share that. I'm looking for something while I'm waiting here for just a couple seconds. Okay. So the reason for, so like I said, the looping, all of that, of that's why it's so difficult. But so if we are not, if we cannot, if we stay stuck in where all the other things that are going on, we're actually coming from an old map. And that's what we're going to talk about in a second. But what you'll walk away with today, so clarity on why the mind resists presence, why it resists it, why it's so difficult. Number two, the tools to shift your subconscious maps, which is like your reality, your map of reality. You can think, and we'll talk about it in a minute, like I said. And then practices to anchor presence in real time. So that way you can start to really put these tools into use and start to see results of them in your life. Okay. So the bridge to NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming, by the way, if anybody wants to write that down and you can start to research it, whatever you want to do, it is your brain is the map maker, right? It's the map of our life, our brain is what has created that, right? It's the mind. And so what you experience isn't actually reality, right? It is your reality because it's through your filters, it's through your thoughts, your emotions, through your beliefs, through your values, right? It's through it's not like when you see something happen, 10 people can see the same thing happening and 10 people have 10 different ways of how. And a good example is this is like I like to ask you guys, what does success mean to you? What does success look like? Or that question of what does that look like? You guys, that infamous question that I ask, what does that look like for you? All of you have different answers to that. So when I say, okay, what does success look like for you? What Janelle says is success with her business and her creative her creative projects and her doing shirts is different than Stacy with her finances and her beads and her all of the things is different to Abby where you are, with your yoga and your um, you know, all of those things, right? And the Reiki and the you being at the school and your purpose with what all comes out in our conversations. Like there's just so many different and Christina also, right? It's different. You guys all have different uh, what it looks like differently for all of you. So understand that there's actually also a scientific reason I ask that question, or like a deeper reason, maybe not scientific, but like a deeper reason I ask that question is because you guys all have different maps of the world. It's not all the same. So that can just show you that like that is that we create it, right? We construct our reality. And so presence, getting present lets you redraw that map. So if you don't like what you're seeing or feeling in your life, getting into the present moment allow is like the key to fixing that or whatever. I don't even like to say fixing, but to start to redraw how you want to. Um, So that is what that is, right? That's the key, or that's the purpose of all of this is like we want to start to really like this makes you want to be present. There we go. Like for me, this was like, oh wow, yeah, I want. And what it really did too is it helped me focus. It helped me start to be more discerning of what I focused on. Who else has done that? Janelle, I know it's really big for you too, of like, oh, I'm not focusing on that. Or, oh, I'm not answering that text because, or I'm not going to respond right now. Like starting to be very more selective and disciplined with what gets your attention or what, receives your energy and attention. Um, it's so magical. And like when you can start to be that way of like, no, and it not actually stay lingering in your mind of like, oh, I need to respond to that question. This was just one of my things. Like I would feel like I had to respond to everything all the time and then think about it constantly if I didn't do it. But then when I started to do this work, I had other focuses and it just, anyway, yeah. So that was one of the things. Okay. So the three core beliefs of NLP that we've talked about so far in the Mindful Mornings is number one, everyone is doing the best they can with the resources they have available. That is, this softens judgment for ourselves first. So anytime we are judging ourselves, we're feeling guilty, we made a decision that ended up not working. I will tell you my massive fail here in a second. Abby, you don't know about it yet. I don't know, Christina, you do. I don't even Steve. I know Janelle does, but massive fail. It's so bad. But this right here, like, helped me soften. I was so mad at myself, but then I'm like, you know what? I'm doing the best I can with what I know. Like, there is no other way for me to operate. That is a presupposition because if I'm assuming, it's an assumption, everyone is doing the best they can. That means that, like, so if we say, everyone, again, back to the homeless people, if everyone who's homeless is lazy, that's an assumption that I'm making. I'm saying all homeless people are just lazy, and that's what I'm assuming, and that doesn't really serve any good purpose, right? Like it doesn't really. But when I say they're doing the best they can with the resources they have available, it softens my judgment and it brings in some compassion of like, let's give them some more resources. This is what I told David the other day, because like Trump is like, or whoever, I guess Trump is wanting to all homeless people have to not be on these tent cities or whatever, like getting rid of them. And I'm just like, what if we went and I would love to like teach a class to homeless people, like how to take their power back from their mind. I'm like, here, let me instead of giving you a fish, let me teach you how to fish, like that type of concept. I would love to do that, right? And that got me, so that really got me in my creative mind and not so like, oh, they're lazy and I don't care what they're, whatever happens because they have the same, whatever. That like not the best way of thinking about it. Anyway, the most helpful. I don't even say the best, I'll just say the most helpful, right? The second one is the map is not the territory, which is what we talked about today. It helps to widen our perspective when we feel very stuck, when we feel very narrow, like, oh, this is my life and there's no way it can change. But what if it could, right? What if there's a different way to look at this? That's always such a powerful question to ask when you feel so crappy about something. What else could be true here? And then the third is no failure, only feedback. Okay. So the day I did, that was yesterday's, and yesterday was the day I found out I failed my first college class, you guys. My very first college class, I failed in ever. I've never failed a college class, and I have an associate's degree, and it was because of logistics. It was because of the lack of, which I'll take responsibility for not reaching out to the teacher, but I never met my teacher ever, never even spoke to him, never got an email. It's all AI, you guys. All of it is artificial intelligence and it's gamified. And anyway, there's so many different like variables to this and it truly is their facts. They're facts of the matter. That is the way that it was, and it was a horrible way to go to start my school career back up after 15 years. Like, I don't know who thought that would be smart, but anyway, in the moment, I was like, I am such a fail. Like, what is this? Like, I study so much stuff. Like, I'm teaching about NLP right now, and I'm like, I fail intro to sociology. Like, how does that happen? So I was like, but you know what? No failure, only feedback. What is it I need to get here? So I reached out to my advisor. I talked to I am starting to get everything cleaned up and they might actually end up changing my grade and like there might be some things happening. But anyway, I could have easily been like, "Oh my gosh, I don't need to do this. I need to stop right now." And who else has done that? When you fail at something, and then you're like, or you tried to do something and things didn't work out and you're like, I'm a failure. How did that make you feel? You stayed stuck in that space, right? For a little while. And then what did you do? Probably nothing. And so this belief of there is no failure, only feedback helps to redirect it with the data. That's supposed to be data, not date. And you can even ask questions to yourself if you're like, is this true? What if there was no failure, only feedback? Like the brain, right now you might be like, yes, there is failure. But if you ask it in a question type of thing, then it kind of starts to, the subconscious mind can then, like your mind can answer that of like, well, maybe there is. And the curiosity starts to take over. So, that is the three beliefs so far. You're gonna have two more, one tomorrow and one on Friday, that I'm not gonna share here because I want you guys to see them tomorrow and the next day. And so you can't shift subconscious patterns if you're not in the now. That's kind of, we established that. And so why presence is the key to rewriting the map, it's because presence leads to awareness, which awareness leads to a new choice, which leads to a new pattern. So that's literally the formula, if you want to think of it. That's where it starts. So presence leads to awareness. The awareness leads to a new choice, and the new choice leads to a new pattern. And that is how you rewrite the map. That's how you start to rewrite your operating system, if you want to think of it that way. And so, do you guys have any questions so far, before I go on? Okay. So, um, where did that go? Hold on. Okay, so let me go on to the next. Okay. So right now, I want you guys to go ahead and, I mean, you can close your eyes for a minute, and this is really just for you guys to notice your thoughts, right? Or notice what you're feeling. Notice, you know, to name them too, like the past, the future, the present, like as they arise. Or what is there, or out of the three, we'll do it this way. Out of the three beliefs I shared, like which one of those is the one that you would adopt right now? Like would be the most helpful for you? So you can think of that. So is it, everyone that could be the most helpful for you right now, whether you're dealing with a lot of like self-doubt, if you're dealing with a lot of failure, if you're dealing with a lot of seeing your reality and your experience when you get present, you're like, oh, I hate this. I don't like what I'm seeing. So choosing one of those three beliefs, everyone's doing the best they can, the map is not the territory, or there is no failure, only feedback. Which one of those three would you practice or really commit to anchoring into for the next, couple days or couple weeks or however long, or would be the most helpful for you? And I'll give you guys a couple seconds. And then I do want to hear from you, um, to hear what your thoughts are. And then whoever wants to share, you can unmute and we can discuss, or I want to hear what you got to say. Milo, you want to tell me what belief? Oh, Stacy. Milo, you can go next. Oh no, she doesn't.
He doesn't want to.
Okay, Stacy.
I'm gonna go with no failure, only feedback.
Okay.
Come up for me without any expectations or judgments for myself or others.
Okay. And so when you think of that or thinking of a failure right now or whatever you would consider, I guess, is there anything right now, and you don't have to explain it all the way, but like can you think of something right now you consider that you're failing in?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So applying that, okay, no, there is no failure, there's only feedback.
Yeah.
Asking, okay, what feedback could this give me? Like of whatever it is, or if you do want to share, I guess, a little bit about it of like, and feedback can even be from another person. So like for me with school, it was the feedback was, okay, what did I do wrong, I guess? Or like what is it that I wasn't paying attention to? Um, so that's just an example of what the feedback would be. What about for you?
I have a couple areas. I mean, just like with my business and stuff, just trying to keep things going and figure it all
Hmm.
out and moving forward, it's just, you kind of fear some of those things that you put yourself out there with. And, you feel like, am I really moving forward in the right direction or am I failing?
Hmm.
Yesterday I asked a couple stupid questions. They were really stupid questions. It was just me getting out of my head and making sure that like I truly understood how to respond to somebody or
Hmm.
which was the best scenario to use in which situation kind of thing. So just keeping on track with that and not feeling like I'm failing when I'm succeeding. I am, but just reminding myself that you're doing it, you're making it happen. You've already been doing it. Just keep doing what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Get your head out of your, you know what. Sorry, little kids around here. I'm trying to be good.
I know
Trying
we're
to be
being
good.
good tonight.
Um, and then, just within my personal life of, you know, really making sure that I'm putting myself there for everyone, but
Hmm.
also for myself and then those that are most important for me, and making sure that I get proper feedback and
Hmm.
how to handle all of those, by others and let alone from all the people in general that it may actually
Hmm.
affect or, deal directly with. So, just those kind of things.
Well, and a great example would be when we did you practiced the life insurance the other night when we were on the Zoom and you went through
Yeah,
like what
that
I'm
too.
doing tonight and going through this with you guys so I can get feedback. And another thing with feedback, Janelle and Stacy, well, and Abby, you might know too, but like with oh my gosh, what is it? Mystic to whatever, that book. Remember? What's it called?
Oh,
Empath
oh,
to Mystic. I think, yeah, that's what
yeah,
it is. Empath to Mystic. But
yeah.
feedback is also something that is talked about in there. So it's like receiving, being able to receive the feedback. There is no failure, but me to be open to receiving. So it's just interesting how all this crosses over to one another at some point. But the other night, when you're running through all that, and at the end where you're like frustrated, like, okay, this isn't going the way that it's supposed to.
Right.
And like all how you were it was just like, but then there was other things going on that added to that. But it was
Yeah.
still like you hopped on the phone with Danny the next day and you figured it out. So like I
Yep.
think we operate this way without even realizing it a lot of the time. Of like,
Right.
I'm already doing this, but then it's just again, it's making it conscious because that subconscious we're
Hmm.
not aware of it. And so bringing it
Right.
conscious, it's like, oh, okay. So anyway, okay. Well, thank
Absolutely.
you for
You're welcome.
sharing that. Is there another one that's powerful for anyone else besides the no failure or no failure only feedback or would be
Mine
helpful?
right now would be everyone is doing the best they can.
Yeah, I love that. It's one of
And,
my faves.
and that applies to Rayleigh.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh
So
yeah.
the pat the
Hmm.
past 2 years I've been trying, to better myself. And this
Oh,
past couple weeks, have been a little chaotic. And I have to catch myself and stop and remember. And she told me last night, she's like, "You raised me." And I was like,
yeah.
"Yeah, I did during the worst times." So those are
Mm-hmm.
that's what she
So
knows.
she knows. She's doing the
So
best she can. Yeah.
I can't hold things against her because she's going by what the resources and the knowledge that she has.
Yeah. Isn't that like with kids? You're so right. I'm so happy that that was like your example because I'm like, you're so right. Like
Yep.
it makes it almost like you just want to give them a hug of like, okay,
Yeah.
I know you're trying, you're doing the best you can because you would do better if you could, right? And
But
sometimes I don't say
like I
that, but
told her, I said, now we can both relearn.
mm-hmm.
I said, you can change. I said, look how the change I've made in the past 2 years. I said, we're going to work on this together
Yeah,
and I'm going to teach you and give you the knowledge that you need. And
yeah,
so that's,
I
yeah,
love that. I love that. And so, and it's that her map of the world, right? And it's
yeah.
that map again of like how we're seeing the others, how we're seeing ourselves. And so I love it. Okay, if anybody else wants to share anything, you can put your little hand up. Okay, so now we're gonna go into integrating shadow work. I put a little smile, I'm like, yay, let's integrate this, even though, because your shadow is your old map. All right. Your shadow is your old map. So UER, NLP helps you with create the new map, right? Actually, NLP helps you see like what's going on and then changing it, but your shadow is your old map. Shadows are unconscious rules about reality. It is the rules that we feel like we've had to follow. NLP helps us rewrite those rules. So an example of is like I failed. A reframe is that's just feedback. I failed in this relationship. Like, I failed my first class. I failed my first college class ever. And, but that's okay. That's just feedback because it's a new time too. 15 years ago, they were in person and and now it's not. And I don't like it. But anyway, but still, I didn't fail, but I did the best I could with the resources and knowledge I had available. And so, but that is how we can integrate. That's how you can think about. So, like with Rayleigh, we'll go to Ray, like what Janelle just talked about, how Rayleigh is her granddaughter, by the way, if anybody, she is going off of this old map of what life was before Janelle got sober, right? When she was, where what was happening there and how her state of being was then. Now that it's totally new and different. And so Rayleigh has to, now they have to work through those shadows and that old map together. And Rayleigh is 12. Do you imagine how I wish someone knew this information when I was and like was my caregiver at 12? Like that's absolutely like the best. Same thing with like, with Abby, with Milo being and with Izzy being like, we know this information. This is just like, I don't know. I just love it. So that is how you can think of these two modalities together of when you are working on when there's something you just feel like you cannot get over or get through, which is what we do the shadows with. And I mentioned it in the beginning where every judgment we have of other people, like we don't have to be constantly like, oh, I got to work on that shadow. I have to reintegrate it. And this is, I don't know. I get kind of like, we aren't broken. And we are not broken. There's nothing wrong with us at all. There's nothing wrong with us. The only thing that's happened is that there's things that have been covered up and we just have to uncover them. But like we don't need fixed, right? We don't need that we aren't all I just don't believe any of that. I just believe that there's layers we have to unlayer in order to get to the truth of what it is. And when it comes to with NLP, it's like that truth can shift. And I remember this is when I felt like I was lying in the beginning when I had my awakening, which was just me becoming aware, right? My awareness kind of just I became aware of my truth, but like I felt like, oh, I'm changing my truth. That means I'm like a fraud and I'm lying. But no, I was discovering what was true for me because these things felt, as far one of them I remember was that I was promiscuous. I always used to see myself as like, oh, I date a lot of people, I'm promiscuous, I blah 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 because that's what like other people said to me. And so when I started to, I'm like, no, that's really it. Actually, I asked, is this really true? And that's another great question to ask if you ever get stuck in a way of being like with me failing that class. I'm like, I didn't really say this, but what if I said I'm not cut out to be a therapist because I'm already pretty much a therapist. So I definitely didn't say that, but I can hear someone else saying that when they fail their first class and then saying, okay, but asking, is this really true though? Is that really true? No, it's not really true. It really sent me into this, like, I feel so bad for people who don't have the untraditional education like I have had, and they go into this traditional, like I just have such I don't know, something's there with like public school, now college, and I'm just like, you guys all suck because you make people feel like they aren't good enough if they don't. Anyway, so the rules. I'm so like anti society now or something. But does that make sense for you guys that shadows are shadows are the old map and with NLP we are creating a new map. Okay. So, how can you apply this in your daily life? All right. So, I'm going to give you guys just 3 ways to use presence in NLP every day. So, you can actually put this into action right away for the next, however long, do this every day. You might even see that you do this already. So the first one is to catch the story. Okay. When you're telling yourself a story or, I'm not good enough or, oh, Stacy, what was something you just said? Like maybe, I need to be paying more attention on my business or something like that, right? Asking, okay, is this true? Do I need to be? Or is this the map or the territory? Meaning, is this the my thoughts on, is this just what I think is going on? Or is this really what is the truth here? Um, and you kind of can just start to catch yourself. That's the awareness piece, right? Remember, presence leads to awareness. Awareness, what was it? Leads to what was it? Do you guys remember? Using that like that formula that I shared a minute ago. Okay, presence leads to awareness, awareness leads to a new choice, and then the new choice leads to a new pattern. So you want to so that's what's happening when you ask yourself, okay, really though, you know, well, and actually, Stacy, if you think about our phone call that day about where you were like, I need to be paying more attention to this, we kind of did something like this, remember? Where it's kind of like, but really, I mean, is that really true? That you aren't paying attention to, like, you actually are. It's just when that girl got a hold of you or whatever, you were talking to that girl and you're like, oh, I have this group. And I think you were thinking of it as, and tell me and correct me if I'm wrong, but you were thinking of it as like, oh my gosh, I'm not paying attention to it or something. But then when you left, it was like a redirection to, okay, this is my purpose, or this is what I want to be doing. And I do have resources for people to be, right? Is that right?
Yeah,
Or, okay.
absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, you just kind of like get going in all different directions, but then you got to
Mm-hmm.
just regroup and refocus and bring yourself back to mind of being present of like, well, wait, where was I really going? And
Mm-hmm.
it's just
Right.
yeah, connecting with somebody made me rethink a couple things. And so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but still staying focused within the general task of what you need to do
It
for
just
the person
reminded you of like,
too.
oh,
And
this
yeah,
really is important to me. Or and because you
yeah,
were like, I can help this person. Like I actually by directing her into my group. And I think you
yeah,
invited her to my group and you knew
yeah,
her struggle or like what she'd been through
yeah,
or whatever you guys talked about.
right,
And
right.
so yeah, so that's one way of like, is because we're gonna talk crap to ourselves right away
Yeah.
just I think as humans. So,
Yeah,
okay,
we do
this
that.
yeah. So, and it was helpful, right? Did you say was it helpful that day of like did you
Yeah, it
feel better?
was.
Okay.
It was. It was helpful in talking with her and just, realizing because I was kind of stuck that day and I was just like, oh, I'm not really getting anything accomplished. Well, I really was because I was communicating with her and I was sharing information and resources that, were
Yes.
available that I was able to provide to her. So,
Right.
yeah, definitely, and
Mm-hmm.
but I had to take a step back and look at it later and realize that was the
Right.
whole purpose of being present in that moment at that time and with what was going on.
I love it. Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. So the second is name the state and anchor into now. So name the state. So like naming, okay, and you think of there's another prerequisite presupposition that is called there are no unresourceful people, there are unresourceful states. Meaning, name where you're at right now. Am I in the past? Am I in the future? Like what state am I in right now? What state of mind, you could think of it, what state of mind am I in right now? Am I in and so Stacey, you saying I what before you talked to that girl, you were like, I need to be doing this, I need to, I should be doing this, or you're feeling kind of low, like, the hypo prop is what it sounds like, because I get into hypo with my nervous system a lot where I'm just like depressed, right? And then so that was the state that you're in. And then when you talk to that lady or you're having that conversation, you anchored into the now. So that happens a lot to me too. Like I'm sure everyone here think of a time when you were distracted by something and I do this with Izzy so much and I'm really trying to be better, but to where I am busy okay, I'm busy. I'm doing this. Don't bother. Or I'm doing this. And then you start talking to them and you come into this like, oh, they do need me right now. And you anchor into the present moment. And it's such a like that is a when you do that, that is literally you are rewiring the brain. Like you're getting back into the right here, okay, right here, right now. And yeah, that's just even though these are like tiny shifts, you guys, these are so tiny and they're so like some people are probably like, "Oh, I need more. I need more to do." No, you don't. Like it is the tiny like just slow the F down and like pay attention to when your state changes and your go from one thing or the mood too. That's why I'm really big on like pay attention to your mood when you go up, when you go down during the day, when you go down from peace, love, and joy, what just happened? What thought did you just think? What person were you around? If you're, if you start to feel something in your body clench up, what was just happening right before that? Like that's feedback. That's information that we want. And if we aren't present or we're not aware of this, how to do this stuff, we miss all of that. And then it all turns into dis-ease, right? We have physical manifestations of things. So it's like, I just think that was such a power, like the most powerful practice of my life was when I noticed when I went down from peace, love, and joy. And I'm like, nope, I'm gonna go back up because I'm not gonna let this situation or person or thought or whatever it was that was taking me out of that state to have the power to determine how I showed up in that moment. And so I would shift to one of either these presuppositions because that's when I was studying NLP. And I would just decide I'm not gonna believe that anymore. Sometimes that you guys, it can be as simple as a decision. It doesn't have to be a lot of energy work or shadow alchemy work or none of it. It doesn't have to be anything. It can literally just be a decision and saying, you know what? I'm not gonna feel like shit because my partner feels like shit right now or whatever. Because they don't feel good right now. I'm gonna feel good anyway, though. I don't care. And it can just be that. And I think that I don't know. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. It could just be a decision. So, all right, the third is reframing. So reframe the meaning is to choose feedback, not failure. I'm just going to use that, or to say, to reframe the meaning of, the, I'm thinking of another example, um, of reframing the meaning of me with, failing that class, or reframing the meaning of, um, yeah, we could even go so far as reframing the meaning when someone cheats on you or your boyfriend breaks up with you or I have went that far before, you guys. Some people are like, I've had conversations like, "Oh my gosh, that guy cheated." Well, yeah, they might have cheated on me, but they have a spiritual journey as well. There's something that had nothing to do with me. Or when that one guy stopped talking to me like abruptly, like because my it was like my best friend's ex-husband or whatever, but he was like everything was going great and then he was just like ghosted me. And in that moment, I remember I'm like, I'm going to be happy anyway because that had nothing to do with me. But before that, I was depressed for like 2 days and sad and crying and like, oh my God, like we were going to be like get married and I don't know. It was like all that. Like yeah, I loved that. I did. I have a really love for that person. But anyway, once I reframed it, my state changed. And I think that is a really big like I want you guys that's a big key like takeaway is that you can change your state in a snap of a finger. You can change the state that you're in so quickly by doing these things. And at first I felt like I don't know. Does anyone else feel like it should be harder or something? Like, I don't know. I'm sorry. That's just how like I felt like some people are like it should be hard to change your state. It should be hard to be go from being really sad to being really happy. It shouldn't be that easy. And actually that is a presupposition. That's an assumption that someone is making and telling us that it can't be that easy. Um and it's like, yeah, but what if it can? What if it can be that easy? And also, like, I mean, yeah, you guys just you can take this and run with it. All this is so you can literally people might I used to say this, Darla, if she was on here, she remember I used to say we probably were in like a mental institution in our past lives all together. Okay. We were all like rooming together in a mental institution because we're all changing our beliefs. But you know what? Like, whatever.
That'd
Because,
have been a fun hospital.
Right?
oh my gosh, that would have been so fun. I mean, I am
That'd be
sure it was
great.
really fun. But that is, and Darla remembers that because I used to say it, and it's been a while, but like, it's true. People will make you feel like you are fucking crazy because you are choosing to think to all this, right? To choose differently and to change your state. Okay.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's a matter of choice, you know. Like
Right.
I was down for a moment on Sunday and I
Hmm.
made a choice to like, you know what, I'm done with that being down and I'm gonna pick myself back up and turn it around and, made something different out of my day. And so if that's where you get your power back, just by able to
Absolutely.
reclaim that and say, you know what, I'm gonna reframe my brain that yes, that happened for a moment, but I can pull myself out of that and choose something differently. So, I went out, I went for a walk, I scooped out some rocks out of the landscaping over here because that's just something that was on my mind that's bothering me that
Oh,
needs to
we're on the
be
phone.
done. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
and so just things like that, like just to go out there and choose differently,
Hmm.
and got myself outside and made for a better day to do so. So I just want to mention that, I guess,
Thank
for
you. And so
just
that
making
is,
a choice.
yeah, making a choice. That's a great example of that. And that's evidence for your brain and your body that it's true, that you can't, that the presence to the awareness equals the new choice or different choice, whichever I like different choice as well. Whatever serves us, and then the new patterns and what's like, yeah. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And I encourage everyone else to think of examples in your own life where you are already doing this, or, when this week, when you do practice those three things, the catching the story, asking if it is, just is this, another way I like to ask is like, seeing art, this is my perception, but what else could be true here, right? What else could be true in this story I'm telling myself, or this map that I have, this map of reality? What else, what am I not seeing, or what else could be true here that could help me feel, or whatever, however you want to say that. But then also anchoring into the now through an experience. Again, connecting to that experience, the moment that we connect to what we're actually doing in the moment, it like a conversation and someone says something that our inner, our higher self is like, oh, you know how to help that person, pay attention right now. Like she's like bitch slapping us. Like, pay attention, get into the present moment. And I talked about gaslighting this morning. I think that people use that term loosely and it's so incorrectly used because everybody has different perceptions of everything. So I don't think people, if unless someone's intentionally like, you saw that wrong. I've said that many times to David. I've said it. No, you're looking at it wrong. Like I do that. I'm like, okay, I must be a really bad gaslighter because I do that. Anyway, it just starts you think about like, well, of course people, because we all have different models of the world. But anyway, and then reframing. Okay. So, where to go from here? And really just closing this out, presence plus NLP is the first step. I mean, it's actually the second step. The first step is really starting to notice your thoughts and your feelings and your behaviors, and knowing that you do have a say in how you feel, what you think about, what you do. You have control over that, to a degree, right? But in the beginning you're starting to like pull that control back to your way. And then the second step is presence and starting to work with the subconscious mind and doing that through meditation, through energy work. Like we're already doing that through the work we're already doing, but then this is just a way through our language, through the way that we say things, through the beliefs that we have that aren't just to, you know, because you'll see people around you start to act differently. Like this is kind of what with Stacy, I've had trouble with because her and I have similar situations, and I'm like, there's a concept I wanted to teach her, and I could not think of how I learned it or where it came from and like what to call it. And then as I was studying this, and the next belief came up as I looked at my board, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the belief. That's what wanted to teach Stacy. Or that's where that came from. And hold on, I'll tell you exactly what the belief or what the presupposition is. But what it was I was trying to teach her was that when your partner is coming at you in a type of way, um, how should I say this? When your partner's coming at you in a type of way, or if they are very, nice, we can say it that way. And or if they're, it's just defensiveness. There we go. When things are getting when we get defensive or they start to come at us in a certain way, when we drop the defense and we come back with a different response of with compassion and say, of course you feel that way, right? Or of course, whatever they're mad about, it softens the energy in the situation. Same thing with our kids, everyone, right? When we have different interactions and communicate differently, we get a different response. We get a different experience in return because we are the same way. So let me tell you, hold on, the belief. Where did it go? Um, okay. Yeah, so meaning of communication, response equal, okay, meaning of communication equals the response you get. So presence in relationships change everything. And that's really where, so like when we're present with what's going on, right, then we can communicate differently, right? So it's like, um, if we are attached to the emotion of the shadow that was coming through, right, was like that liar, being called a liar. And it was like, okay, but I'm not a liar. Blah, 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 blah. I did this, like in defense. But if you just pause for a minute and you be in the present moment and say, okay, that's okay that you see me that way. It's unfortunate, but that's okay. Um, and instead of being like, all defensive or whatever, then it changes the response because they don't know how to respond. And when you guys start doing that, when you notice and you do this, you respond differently, they truly do not know how to respond because it's no longer this like anger and, with defense. And gosh dang it, where did it go? But anyway, I'll talk about it tomorrow morning, so make sure I'll tag you guys in it. But it's about how in order to change the responses we get with anyone, we change how we communicate with them. That's at the end of the day, that's what it is. So, okay, so that is the end of this. Of course, it's like I want to invite you guys into my program. You guys already know about it. All of you here, you're all my clients, so it doesn't matter. But anyone who's going to be in the actual one, but also I am doing channel. So I'm going to talk about channel too, which is like the mastermind that I created for anyone who's building a brand, anyone who is, wanting to build a business and put themselves out there and like start to channel from this place of presence and with your higher self and with that foundational, like your energetic foundation being balanced out and you channeling the information that you're literally here to channel. That's your purpose. And it comes through your experiences and the knowledge that you've obtained throughout your life and how you want to serve the world. Um, and to be seen, that's really what channel is all about too, is like being actually like feeling confident and being seen from the world and not thinking like, oh my gosh, like what are they going to think and how's this going to go? Which we all do as business owners, but you just do it anyway. You're just like, whatever. I want to get this out because I want to help so many people and I want to serve. And so that's called channel, and I'll talk about that more. Uh, I'll talk about that more in the actual masterclass. So, do you guys have any questions or comments or anything like that at all? And we just did about an hour, so that's great, actually. Well, if you guys think of anything or have any questions or would like, and I will send, I recorded this, so I'll send the replay to you guys. Um, but yeah, so you guys just let me know if you have any questions and let me know how those practices go or like how you notice in the next couple weeks or whatever in the next week of how just being present in your interactions and how you, yeah, even with your bosses, you can change outcome. It's about being able to change the outcome um, of a situation through our communication. That's really what that last one was about. It's very fascinating. And
Yeah.
it's
I'm going to use it with Rayleigh
okay, yeah. I'm curious to see how.
because we really have to,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, let me know how that goes. And I'll send you some more things on it as far as like what to actually, um,
Because I do get defensive
okay,
with her
okay. Hmm. Yeah.
and tend to raise my voice, but then I catch myself and I have to pull
Hmm.
back. But it's just me and her. It's just
Yeah.
we're both.
I know. You
She's like,
both
I'm
want to
just
be
like you.
heard, and you both want to be heard, you know? Like
Yeah,
that's really what it
we
is.
try and
Yeah.
outspeak one another.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, your session's on Friday, so
Yeah.
coaching session. So definitely bring me all the things with that.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
And
Um,
we gotta realize too that it's okay to, disagree with one another,
ooh, I love that.
you know,
Absolutely. Yes.
definitely, we're not all
Absolutely.
going to see eye to eye. We're gonna have differences in opinions. There was a
Yes.
statement I really wanted to say with that, and but yeah, just
I love
like
that.
trying to, you know,
And I'm glad you
agree to
said that.
disagree.
Yeah.
Everybody can agree to disagree on everything.
Yeah.
We're not going to see eye to eye
And
on
it's not yeah, I'm
that.
glad you said that because it's not about agreeing with one another. Or it's like you're
No,
exactly right. Like
yeah.
we can disagree. It's okay to disagree with one another, but there can also
Hmm.
be it doesn't have to be elevated, like emotions high and like
Right,
like it can be this, I disagree with you, but I love you, like that,
right.
or you know what I mean? And I think we've never
Yeah,
been taught how to communicate that way.
true.
So
Right.
but yeah, I'm
Yeah,
glad you said that.
and that's just it. Like communicating that with each other that it's okay that I don't agree with you and
Right,
you don't agree with me. Like we're on different levels with that, so yeah, but some people have a hard time seeing that. They just want to keep arguing with it
right,
because they want to be right.
right, right. And then that's when we're just like, okay, you can
Right.
be right.
Yeah.
But you
And
can disagree with compassion too.
you
Yeah,
could,
absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think yeah, that's the point of that, right? In the world right now too, everybody is like disagreeing
Yeah.
and they're separated and divide, and it's as healers in this space, right? That is part of our purpose too, is to that's okay. Everyone can disagree.
Mhm. Right.
And having
Yeah,
spaces where they can feel safe to just, I think it's just more important now than ever that
Yes.
those things are available. So
well, it's
for
a
people,
matter of dividing and conquering your utter space, of
hmm,
disagreement there too, as well, like
yeah.
which everybody, has
And
to
then, yeah, and
accept
then maybe
that.
pointing people to, okay, well, what do you agree with? What is
Right.
it that you do agree with? What do you, because I think people can get so hung up on what they don't agree with and blah, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. Okay, but what do you agree with? And what are you gonna, like, how are you doing anything about, or whatever,
And
right?
then you can
I don't
ask,
know.
what is it making it mean about you as well? Because that's Nicole's favorite thing to ask. So,
But now it's your
right.
favorite thing to ask your husband.
That's
Okay, what are
right.
you making that mean about you?
Yeah, the very first time I threw that out there, he was like, "What the?"
But
Yeah,
that his map of the world, okay,
yeah.
his map of the world is like it just like they can't even comprehend that they are making something mean about because I didn't either till my coach asked me that
Right,
question of
right.
like, what do you mean? It
We all
does
do.
mean about. whatever I don't, that's like such a weird question to answer at first when you don't
Hmm.
realize the power that you have, you know?
Right.
So yeah, I would have loved to see his face. That would
Right.
have been funny. David's was funny when I asked him.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I've used that in a few scenarios too. Like, and people are just
Yeah.
like, what? You know, I don't know
It's
really
those
how to answer
responses.
you. I'm like, yeah, I've been in that same situation. I didn't know how to reply.
I
Like,
didn't know how to
what?
reply.
What do you,
But
what,
that then your
don't make me
brain
hang
is
up on
like
me.
searching, right? It's like searching for what does it mean? Like, what is it
Right.
doing? And you kind of, it's in, yeah, anyway,
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
it's so interesting. So, okay, well, thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
yes, thank you so much. I will,
Mhm.
I'll see you guys. And then Abby, if you're still on here, I know we'll talk tomorrow night. We'll have our call. To catch up, and then I'll see you guys on Friday.
All
So,
right.
all
Sounds
right, I
good.
love you guys.
All right.
Love
Love you too.
you.
Have a good
Love you all.
night.
Bye.
Enjoy. Bye.
Bye. Bye, Cece.